Testing. Hello, everybody. If you're going to come up tonight to speak, make sure the mic's on. It'll be green if it's on. They won't be able to hear you online otherwise. Thank you.
Good evening. It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, April the 14th. Happy pre-tax day. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome to everyone, and I will call for the roll.
Commissioner Nesbitt.
Here.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh.
Present.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Present.
Commissioner Torres.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Chair Wiley.
Here. All right, has everyone had a chance to look at the consent agenda? Any questions?
Madam Chair.
All right, Commissioner O'Neill.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any questions? All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt.
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Yes.
Commissioner Torres.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. All right, with that, we will move on to our first case, number 26418.
Chair,
Yes,
do you swear people in?
I did not swear people in. I would have done that right before. If you are in the galley and you expect to speak, want to speak, need to speak, then at this time I need you to stand. If there's just even a chance you might want to speak. All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth to this commission? If so, say I will. All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. All right, we now will move to our first case, number 26418, a short-term rental on North Logan Lane. Cogan Lane, yes, thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am. We'll call you up when it's your turn. All right, we are ready for the staff report.
All righty. So this is application 26418, an application for short-term rental approval for the property at 317 North Cogan Lane. The property is located in northern northeastern Independence on the west side of 291 Highway. Here's a notification area map as required by city code. Zoning district map of the subject site and the surrounding properties shows that there is a mix of zoning district classifications surrounding the subject property. The predominant uses in the subdivision are single family. So the properties to the east are vacant, and the multifamily zone property to the west is also vacant. The property in question is approximately 10,500 square feet in size. County records indicate the dwelling was constructed in 1968 and encloses approximately 800 square feet of living area, and the driveway is 2-car wide and can accommodate up to 4 cars. Here's a street view picture of the proposed short-term rental. And street view photos of the surrounding properties looking south and looking north. It's a floor plan of the subject site. and the lower level has an additional bedroom. A parking plan for the subject site shows that 2-car wide driveway. And lastly, the nearest short-term rental in the closest proximity is greater than the minimum 500-foot buffer required by city code. City staff do recommend approval of the short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum occupancy shall be limited to 6 adults, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be limited to 3. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, Gabe, before we go through all of them, I'll just ask once. To your knowledge, has any of the short-term rentals that are going to be under hearings been operating?
To my knowledge, none of the proposed short-term rentals have been operating illegally.
All right, thank you very much. My second question would be, you mentioned parking for 4, but they would only be required to have parking for 3. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have
Chair.
questions for staff? Yes, Commissioner Nesbitt.
Is Cogan Lane, are they able to park on the street there? It looked kind of narrow. Is it a no parking on
So
the street?
there are, you're able to park on the street on Cogan Lane. It is a narrow street, though.
Okay. Can we ask that, well, I'm going to recommend that we put no parking on the street as part of their recommendations also.
So does that require a motion to add that as a condition for approval?
It's wide enough, it's wide enough for the cars, but the street's narrow. I just want to add that to the recommendations when we vote.
So I believe you'll need a motion to add that as a condition for approval. You can make a motion if you'd like.
Okay. But I don't, before we hadn't made a motion, we just added on to the, when we make the motion, that we add it to that recommendation. That's already, because you guys are making recommendations. You got 7 of them. I want to make an 8th one to add on there also. I mean, if anybody else on the council,
Don't you have to vote to add it on? And then if it doesn't pass, then you're going to vote on again?
Yeah, so
So why don't we just do it now?
I would suggest making a motion to add that condition to staff's
Report.
recommendation,
okay.
and then voting on that, and then if that passes, then you would vote on the amended conditions.
Okay. I want to wait and see what the applicant has to say.
All right, any additional questions? All right. Now I will invite the applicant forward.
We're waiting on it.
And please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is Dana Vandiver. I live at 10241 Northwest 57th Terrace, Parkville, Missouri.
What would you like us to know about your project?
I am the owner at 317 North Cogan Lane. I just recently am able to purchase this house back in November, and Airbnb's always been a hobby I wanted to do. I have a noise management plan to where I enforce quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily, only allowing 6 guests, no parties, no outdoor music at any time. Excessive noise complaints may result in immediate termination. I have an Abilify noise monitor installed that will alert me if any smoking is going on at the property or any loud noise. I'm available 24/7 for any emergencies. And let's see, there's a evacuation plan, fire extinguishers, everything is ready to go, and it's a safe property. It's got a private backyard. It'd be good for any families or anyone traveling to stay at.
All right, any questions for the applicant?
Chair,
Commissioner Nesbitt.
Now, do you mind putting no parking on the street?
No, that's no problem.
That's
The
no
driveway's
problem.
about
That
4
driveway
yeah.
looked big enough, I just, because the street's narrow.
Yeah, I don't have a problem letting them know not
Okay.
to park on the street.
How far away do you live?
About 30 minutes away.
30 minutes. Do you
Yeah.
have anybody any
Yeah,
closer?
I have other I have a few friends that could get there quicker than that if needed.
Will they be on the call log or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, I can have them on call, yes.
Okay, because I mean, normally we like to have somebody within 15 minutes, I think, isn't that what our,
That's fine, yeah, I have someone that can get there in 5 minutes.
okay.
Okay.
All right, I do have one question for you. You mentioned no parties. What's your plan to enforce that?
The noise monitor will alert me, but I plan to give the neighbors my phone number, and if they have any complaints, just to call me, and me or someone else will be there immediately to stop that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone to speak in favor? Seeing none? Is there anyone who'd like to speak in opposition to this case? Anyone who wants to speak in opposition? All right, I am seeing none, so I would close this public hearing.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I want to make a motion that we add recommendation 8, no parking on the street, to this.
Okay, we have a first
Second.
and a second to add an 8th recommendation for no parking on the street. All right, any discussion? I'd say my only discussion would be I don't like adding recommendations one-off. Short-term rental has its guidelines, and I'd like to be across the board on those guidelines. Any other thoughts? All right, I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young. No. Chair Wiley.
No, and the motion passes 5-2, so we will add recommendation 8.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I move to approve case number 26-400-18, short-term rental on 317 North Cogan Lane.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any final conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres.
Yes.
Commissioner Young. Yes. Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 26-418, short-term rental on Cogan Lane. Congratulations. All right, with that, we will move on to our next case. It is also a short-term rental. Case number 26-422 at 14104 East 39th Street South. Staff, love your report.
As you stated, this is another application for short-term rental approval for the property located at 14104 East 39th Street South. The property is located on the north side of 70 Highway and east side of Nolan Road and Southern Independence generally. Here's a notification area map as required by city code. A zoning district map of the subject site and the surrounding properties show that the subject site is located in a duplex zoning district and on the west side of the property abutting duplexes. On the east side of the property are single-family subdivisions, and the Nolan Road commercial corridor is located further to the west. The property in question is approximately 9,140 square feet in size. The county records indicate the dwelling was constructed in 1968 and encloses approximately 750 square feet of living area. The driveway can accommodate up to 2 cars with a turnaround, and the garage will be available for guest parking. Here's a street level image of the proposed short-term rental showing that this is one side of a duplex. And here are street level imagery showing 39th Street looking east and looking west towards Nolan Road. There's a floor plan of the subject site, first floor, the entry in the garage, and second floor. Parking plan for the proposed short-term rental shows 2 cars in the driveway and 1 car in the garage. And the nearest short-term rental is east of Phelps Road. The proposed short-term rental does comply with the distance regulations for short-term rentals. Staff do recommend approval of the short-term rental with the standard conditions. The occupancy shall be limited to 6 adults, and the number of bedrooms shall be limited to 3. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right. Commissioners, any questions for?
Chair,
Yes,
this one, no parking on the street here too, right?
That's
correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to invite the applicant forward. Once again, please state your name and your address.
It's Stephen Ward, 18213 Cliff Drive, Independence, Missouri. Can I adjust this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello? Okay. There we go. So 18213 Cliff Drive, Independence, Missouri. Stephen Ward.
All right, tell us about your short-term rental.
Well, my family and extended family has owned and lived in this duplex since it was built by my grandfather. I was raising my own kids there for about 7 years up until last summer. We bought a house so that my parents could live with us and not have to contend with the stairs that you saw in the duplex anymore. And due to some I don't know. We just wanted to try out the short-term rental thing, to be honest. Give it a shot. We're expecting some expensive medical expenses in the next several years. We're hoping this can help with that. Last weekend, I visited the neighbors in the what Gabe called it, the notification area. Knocked on doors, had several conversations with them. Some people did express reservations. Their main reservation was crime. Just they've heard stories about Airbnb and whatnot. And so I talked with them about some of the countermeasures that are in place with it, the noise detectors, so on. And I gave them my contact information. I said, you know, day or night, give me a call if anything's going on, or you want to talk about anything, let me know. So along with Independence's regulations, as you see on the slide, I'm taking some additional measures. I'm utilizing the guest screening tools offered by the booking platforms, as well as an extra service called Truvi.com. For screening and background checks and so on. I'm installing external security cameras. I've completed human trafficking training recommended by Airbnb through Polaris and ECPAT International. I do not plan to allow anybody under 21 to make a reservation at all. And I'll take action if I found out a person has checked in that is different from the person that has made the reservation. Beyond FIFA, our hope is to provide housing to visiting business travelers and travel nurses and such. So we're aiming for more than just nightly stays, you know, weekly, monthly even. I've reached out to some travel nursing companies as well as Wally's, who's opening up right down the street. I haven't heard back. I don't know. It's a big company, I guess. Yeah, so thank you again for your time, and thank you to the city planner's office for helping out with the process.
All right. Do we have any questions for Mr. Ward? Any questions? I just have one. You said you grew up and you've lived there. You have your own experience with the neighborhood.
Right.
So when someone talks about crime or fear, what do you say to that?
Actually, our little part of that neighborhood there, like our experience has actually had a surprisingly low amount of crime. And I think a lot of that is due to the visibility of that 39th and Noland intersection. And like, we don't have privacy fences up or anything, so I think there's a lot of transparency and visibility that dissuades people from trying to break in or anything like that. Now I know you don't have to go too far to find areas where there is crime, and I know that stuff has happened at 39th and Noland, very close. But I mean, mostly it's been associated with like the cruising, the Nolan Road cruising on Friday nights and stuff like that. I think of the area as really pretty safe, to be honest. But I understand concerns, and I understand that there are areas not too far where there have been some pretty bad stories of crime that have happened. So, yeah, that would be my thoughts.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think that's it for now. We'll call
Okay.
you back if we need to.
Okay. And I no parking on 39th Street, I promise.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone present who'd like to speak in favor? Anyone present who'd like to speak in opposition? Anyone present who'd like to speak in opposition? All right. I'm not seeing any, so I will close this public hearing.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion we approve case 26-422, short-term rental of 14104 East 39th Street South.
Okay, I have a first and I have a second from Commissioner Ferguson. And I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Yes.
Commissioner Torres.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 25422, short-term rental 14104 East 39th Street South. Thank you and congratulations.
Chair,
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
need to mention something I forgot to mention to that applicant. Your property is on Google, you can't see. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes when people look it up, because that's how I look, so. Okay, thanks.
All right, staff, we are ready for our next case.
This is application number 26400-23, an application for short-term rental approval for the property located at 1312 South Emery Street. The property is located just south of 23rd Street and east of Nolan Road. It's a notification area map as required by city code. Here's a zoning district map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. Shows that the proposed short-term rental is surrounded by single-family subdivision of similar age and characteristics. The parcel in question is approximately 10,000 square feet in size. County records indicate the dwelling was constructed in 1940 and encloses approximately 884 square feet of living area. The driveway is single car wide but can accommodate up to 2 cars, and the proposed short-term rental does meet the parking requirement. Here is a picture of the front facade and a street level view looking north up Emery Street and south. Here's a floor plan of the proposed short-term rental showing 3 bedrooms. and a parking plan showing space for 2 cars in the driveway and 1 street parking space. The nearest short-term rental is located to the west and is outside of any 500-foot separation requirement as required by city code. Staff do recommend approval of the proposed short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum occupancy of the short-term rental is limited to 6 adults, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be 3. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right. When we originally, I think, looked at this one, the driveway was in pretty rough shape, but that picture, it looked great. So that's something they've recently redone?
Yes.
Maybe I should ask the applicant.
And yeah, the applicant may know more about the recent renovations. A building permit was obtained from the applicant to rehabilitate the single-family structure. A new certificate of occupancy was issued sometime this past January.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Any additional questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I will call the applicant up.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ala. I'm the owner of the property located at 1312 South Emery Street.
And what is your address?
My address is 125 Revere Street, Canton, Massachusetts, 02021.
Okay. What do you want us to know? Why Independence if you have a Massachusetts address?
I've researched a lot about Kansas City. I work in travel industry. In fact, I work for an airline, and I did most of my career in airline. I worked with air service development of different airports. So I know, for example, air development director for Kansas City Airport. So it was typical for my job to meet with different airport representatives to learn about the economy, their cities, what's been going on. So I've always known Kansas has had really strong economy, just had a lot of development, and was a fun area for people to visit. And that's how I started being interested in the area. I have some friends who used to live here. I have met a lot of new friends while I was researching the property.
Okay. And what is your plan if there's an issue at your short-term rental?
So as you could see, this property has been recently completely remodeled. It has a really nice curb appeal, and it's the nicest house on the block. It's basically got renovated. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, which is really nice. So I hope to serve travelers of different types who would find comfort in this house. It's located about 4 minutes from the Independence Square, with a lot of different places to visit or experience. It's not far from some hospitals. It's not far from the stadium. And it's not far from downtown as well. So the property is fully fenced. It has a big backyard. It's central air inside. It's going to be operated by a local company that has been operating other Airbnbs in Kansas City area. They have over a dozen of properties. They've been in operations for over 4 years. They have 4.5 or higher rating on Airbnb, and they have 99% response rate under 10 minutes, 0 cancellation rate, and am I missing something? There's 5 people working in this company. At least 2 of them are located 25 minutes from the property. I also have a pretty good support system here. So my agent, who is also property manager with 30 plus units. So if anything goes wrong, I have plenty of contacts to rely on who could be at the property and solve any issues that could potentially arise. But it's a new property, so I don't expect any issues with the house itself. In terms of the guest type, I'm planning to limit and only rent to people who are 25 or older. I think it's pretty standard that parties typically happen with younger guests. So my plan is to only rent 20 to 25 years plus age. Obviously do background check. There's going to be a device installed for noise monitoring, outdoor camera, which will be disclosed in the listing. Let me think if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe something else would come up if you have questions.
Is everything set up to notify you or your management company?
Both.
Okay.
And we went around the neighborhood, discussed everything with the neighbors, so they have everybody's information if something comes up.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, we'll call you. Any other commissioners have questions before I let her sit?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you. We'll call you back if we need to.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this case? Were you sworn in, sir? Okay, great. Introduce yourself and your home address.
Sean Foster, 3909 South Phelps Road, Independence, 64055. I don't know if you guys remember me. I've been up here several times in front of you. I've been kind of helping Ala and her agent with this process, and she just wanted to reiterate that she does have the minutes. She does have a doorbell camera on the front that her property manager will be monitoring full-time, obviously, and then she has made contact with several of the neighbors, talked to them for a little bit, so I'm pretty sure they exchange information. And even though she doesn't live local, she lives a little ways away, obviously she's dedicated to being a good neighbor and being an asset to that particular block that's seen better days. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this case? All right, is there anyone present who'd like to speak in opposition of this case? Anyone to speak in opposition? Okay, seeing none, I would close the public hearing. All right, any discussion, commissioners?
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
this is for staff. On the applicant, what was the address given for the applicant? Went on first.
The address given for the applicant was 1312 South Emory Street.
But that's not her address, so we got a problem here. Do you have it someplace in writing someplace? Her home address?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you have her home address in writing someplace?
I don't believe so.
Don't you think we should have that since she does not live in the area? I mean, yes, she owns the home, but she doesn't live there.
Yeah, we can make sure on any licensing, we'll have her home address on the
'Cause
business
I
license.
mean, that's a little weird here. When they applied for this and you ask for the applicant's address, they give 312 when they're been remodeling it and nobody's been living there. So we have a problem there, so we got to make sure we get their home address. My next question is going to be, she's going to be using a property management, and do you have the property management's address or anything or numbers?
The applicant did provide us with their property management's contact information. That was just a day or two ago, so I don't have that in the staff report, but that has been provided to city staff.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that. Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions?
Yes,
Commissioner Oshkosh.
this is for staff. So I would assume it is, but I'd like to hear you guys say it. You would normally go to the owner to ask the owner if there's a problem, a problem occurs. Would the property manager person be someone you would also go to, and would they also have the same standing as the owner when there's a problem, if there's a problem that occurs?
On any licensing documentation for the short-term rental, if the property management company is listed as a contact, they have the same weight and will be contacted by city staff if there are any issues. Now, I will say that enforceability of city code, the property owner will ultimately be responsible for citations, but of course, the property management company can be listed on the license.
Okay, well, thanks for making that clear, I appreciate it.
Any additional questions?
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion we approve case 26-423, short-term rental, 1312 South Emory Street.
Second?
Okay, I have a first and a second. I think Commissioner Young beat you just by a hair there.
No, he didn't, but that's okay.
All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill?
Yes.
Commissioner Torres?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Chair Wiley?
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 26-425, short-term rental at 3829
Nice. You put me off.
South, oh, Crane.
You're
Wrong
wrong.
one. That would be why. Short-term rental, 3829 South. Oh, that was the right
Still
one.
wrong.
26-423, I apologize, y'all. There's a lot on the list. For 1312 South Emory Avenue. All right. And are we ready to move forward? All right.
Is application 26-425, an application for short-term rental of the property located at 3829 South Crane Street. The property is located on the north side of 39th Street and just east of Phelps Road, and southeast Independence. Here's a notification area map as required by city code. Zoning district map shows the property is surrounded by a single-family subdivision of similar age, design, characteristics. Aerial imagery of the property shows it's approximately 9,148 square feet in size. County records indicate the dwelling was constructed in 1966 and encloses approximately 952 square feet of living area. There is a sidewalk in front of the subject site, so the garage will be made available for guests in the event that more cars need to be accommodated for parking. Here's a photo of the front facade, the subject site, and street level imagery showing Crane Street looking northbound and southbound towards 39th Street. Here's a floor plan of the proposed short-term rental showing 3 bedrooms and a parking plan for the proposed short-term rental. The nearest short-term rental is south across 39th Street and is outside of any 500-foot separation requirement required by city code. Staff do recommend approval of the short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum adult occupancy shall be limited to 6, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be limited to 3. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right. Commissioners, any questions? All right. Commissioner, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at this just, so something occurred to me because we just approved one pretty close to this. Are they far enough apart?
Yes, yeah, I checked the distance, the separation requirements, and I think it was pretty close.
Okay. Thanks for checking on that. Appreciate it.
All right. Any additional questions? All right. I will invite the applicant forward.
Good evening. Is that on? Is this on? Can you hear me?
Not really. Just speak up.
Good evening.
There you go.
There you go. My name is Candy Moore, and I'm planning on having a short-term rental at 3829 South Crane Street. This short-term rental home was my mother's, and it's very, I don't know, it kind of makes me emotional because she lived there for, I don't know, maybe 45 years. And so instead of selling it, I decided to make it a short-term rental. Now, I've had a rental home in Lee Summit, so I've rented houses before. Short-term rental, I haven't done, but I'm excited about doing this. And I want people to come to Independence and have a good time because what better way to do it than just to rent it out? I thought, you know, it would bring in revenue for other restaurants and things around the neighborhood, up at the square or down 40 Highway. I grew up here. I went to Truman High School. We plan on, I have friends, Brian Crutchfield, who has 7 Airbnbs, him and his wife Karma Molding. They're going to help me with a lot of the ins and outs. They've given me a huge list, and we're plugging along. Security cameras and how I do things. So I know every neighbor across the street, down the street. We just cut some trees and everybody came out, so I have eyes everywhere. I have friends in Thomashaw. The Lavotas live over there. Steve does. He's a friend of mine. He's close, but I live 5 minutes away from this rental. And I won't let anybody mess it up. And I won't do that to my neighbors because they've been my friends since I was a little girl. So noise, we're going to get the noise reduction thing for the inside of the house ordered, because I'm not renting it right now. I wanted to get everything done here before I start. But we're ready to go with most everything. I don't know. I just thought it'd be a neat way to bring an affordable vacation for people, out of town, and show them a little bit of our little town here.
All right, thank you very much for sharing. Any questions for our applicant? Okay, go ahead and be seated.
Thank you.
Anyone present who would like to speak in favor? Anyone who'd like to speak in favor of this case? All right, anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? All right, I see none. I will close the public hearing.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to approve case 26-425, short-term rental, 3829 South Crane Street.
Second.
I have a first and I have a second. Any final questions for staff? All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 26-425, short-term rental at 3829 South Crane Street. Congratulations, and I hope you have a really great time with it. Good memories. All right, our next case is case number 26-426, short-term rental at 3021 Porter Road.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
in order to maintain full disclosure, one of my companies performed work on this location several weeks ago. So I will, in order to ensure that there is no conflict of interest, even though I may not believe that there is one, I will recuse myself from asking questions, commenting, or voting on this case. Case number 26-400-26, short-term rental, 3021 Porter Road.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your level of integrity there. All right, staff, go forward with your report.
Yes, this proposed short-term rental is located in southeast Independence on the east side of Lee Summit Road. Here's a notification area map as required by City Code. Zoning district map of the surrounding properties show that this is located in a single-family subdivision. To the northwest there, you can see part of the Glendale at the Mansions. The site is approximately 7,800 square feet in size. County records indicate the dwelling was constructed in 1970 and encloses approximately 912 square feet of living area. The site does have a double-wide driveway, providing ample parking for guests. Here's a picture of the front facade and street-level imagery looking approximately northeasterly and southwesterly along Porter Road. A floor plan of the proposed short-term rental. And a parking plan. The closest short-term rental is located to the south of this application and is outside of any site separation requirements. Staff do recommend approval of the short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum adult occupancy of the short-term rental shall be limited to 6, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be limited to 3. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you, Gabe. All right, any additional questions for staff? All right, I see none, so I will invite that applicant forward.
Good evening. My name is John Ross.
You might need to pull that up and, there
A
you
little
go.
taller, yep.
Yeah.
I live at 12611 Cherokee in Kansas. I own a couple rentals and one in Sugar Creek, Farmer, off the square, and then this was a long-term tenancy that the tenant moved out back in August, and I knew the World Cup was coming in. I said I've always wanted a short-term rental, so let's see if we can get one together. So I'm pressing hard to get it done. It's still not completed, but we're working hard to get to that point. So, yeah. Sorry.
Will it just be a long-term rental then? Will you apply if you miss that window?
No, I've always wanted a short-term rental. I think it could be used as, not only over Airbnb, but we have family that sometimes come into town, so I'd like to use it more sometimes as a ministry opportunity too as well to, maybe be a blessing to someone that might have a need. So it's always just been a time, my experience in rentals too has been, they don't seem to take care of the place as well as I would like, mowing the yard, keeping the house clean, et cetera, et cetera. When I looked at the analytics on this piece of property, it showed it would be, 50% occupied. So, that's a lot less people using the house. And then, of course, I've got to have the utilities and the mowing done and gutters cleaned, and I'm not leaving it up to the tenant. So I'm out this way all the time, with my other properties. So I think I'm 20 minutes away, depending on traffic. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions for our applicant?
Oh, I would like to add that Michael's company did a great job on the surrounding.
Okay, perfect.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I noticed you didn't put down anything about the basement. Are you going to lock the basement also, that people can't get down there? Some of them do that, that's why I was just wondering.
So the plan on the basement hadn't been fully thought out, but that's where the washer and dryer is. And so it's still kind of being planned out that you would go down into the basement to access the washer and dryer.
Okay.
And then the rest of the basement would be, have a lock on it and a lock to the garage as well to get into the garage.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who'd like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? All right. Were you sworn in, sir? Yeah, great, thank you. Restate. State your name.
Clark Stewart.
At the microphone, please.
Sorry.
And your
Clark
address.
Stewart.
And the address of where you live.
3012 Porter Road.
Okay. And what would you like us to know?
I met John, he's a very nice man. My thing is, I've got 4 rentals across the street right now. That will be number 4. And the issue is, I've been in the neighborhood for 30 years, and there's a lot of older people, and quite a few that couldn't make it tonight. We did get some of them to sign, but I don't know if that makes a difference, but some last minute, didn't show up. As usual, these homes it's our neighborhood. We have young couples move in, they start families, and your neighborhood stays alive. It's like taking care of a motor. You got to keep it up and keep things going. The problem is all the houses are being rented. Started with BlackRock, usually people from out of state. They come and they buy the homes, I don't mind the rentals. I've got some renters across the street, like I said, that are good renters. And we've had some that busted headlights out and on their husband's trucks and tore up a lot of things, big grease stains in the street from working on their motors, and, you know, had to call the police a few times. Right now, they're gone, things are better. So it's not the owners. I see what they're trying to make money and do things. Long-term rentals don't really have a problem with. Short-term rentals, we don't know who's coming in and out of that neighborhood. We got little girls that live right next to the house, a couple houses down, and we worry about children, which is one of the main factors that people speak about. And then, you know, they talk about, you know, if something happens, they can call somebody who's project manager. Well, if something happens, then the problem's already happened. So really, they're not going to prevent it from happening. We've had a monthly rental down at the bottom of the street, and that didn't go well. Had a lot of people bring in all kinds of loud motorcycles and go-karts and up and down the street at midnight. And it's an older neighborhood, you know, it's kind of hard on the older people. So just not on the short term. You know, we like to make sure everything's good and opportunities for, if you're renting somewhere, the last one was there for 18 years. You kind of get to know them. But when they're coming in monthly and you don't know where they're coming from, then it's kind of devastating to the street. I mean, like I said, we got quite a few names here just on that street, and that's not counting 9 or 10 that didn't sign the paper because it was a last minute cancellation, but that's the main thing. So I'm just kind of speaking for everybody else, you know, that's kind of their mindset too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Anyone else to speak in opposition? All right, I'm going to go ahead and invite the applicant back up to address anything that you heard.
Well, thank you. I'm glad there's a ability to at least get some recourse on that. The long-term renter that he mentions was Porter, the house that I took over. That person was there for 18 years. He worked on his car in front of the driveway. There's huge oil spots in front of the driveway. The inside of the house needed to be totally gutted out and redone. If this doesn't pass it, I'm going to put it back to a long-term rental. So if you would like to take the chance to have another long-term renter in there, you know, that doesn't mow his yard and occasionally, or lets it get grown enough, and not to the point where the city has to get out there for sure. But if you can see my point. And again, the analytics show that it would only be 50% occupied, not that, so the traffic would be less. We vet the applicants over Airbnb, looking at who's coming in for Royals games and Chiefs games, and weddings and funerals. So I'm not sure that some of the rumors on short-term rentals can be, you know, justified on some of the fears that people might put out there. Anyway.
What is your plan if there is a concern at the house? Do the neighbors have you given your phone number?
I have met the neighbor, and like you said, there are some rentals next to the house. On both sides of that, there's as far as I know, there's a renter on either side of that. So at least this house would be different than the other three. It wouldn't be three in a row. This house would probably be, you know, during the week, probably doesn't get rented that much. I did meet the one neighbor on the one side. Haven't met any others other than this gentleman back here one day when we were talking in the yard. But I mean, I guess I'll have to play it by ear. First time I'm doing this, so I'm not sure how you handle that other than to, you know, call the police out if they're violating the law, for sure, or, you know, and then terminate that particular thing. You know, and again, I think it all goes down to vetting and choosing who goes in there. So 6 people certainly can't do a lot of, you know, when you're looking at that and the profile of somebody, and it's like a mom and dad and 4 kids. I mean, they're not like and they've been doing Airbnb for wherever, you know, time. You can certainly get idea who they are. So, anyway, I know he's got a lot of names on there. Not sure how much weight that carries. Anyway,
All right.
any other questions?
All right. Thank you very
So,
much.
wait a minute.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
Commissioner,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So you said you just met this neighbor and you're going to try to meet the other neighbors?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's a lady across the street. I think I want to find out who does her yard, because she is the most perfect grass. And I'd like to get that yard taken care of. So, but yeah, absolutely. I'm not opposed to meeting the neighbors and getting to know them, get their numbers, and give them my contact information as well. I mean, the renters, the one lady on the one side with the little kid, I mean, she's probably been there a year or two, I think, maybe less than a year. But even long-term renters are transient. They're only going to be there a year and a half, 2 years. The guy that was in our house, the family that was in our house, they were there for quite a while. So I took over that property years ago, and they came with it. And but I'd always had a thought that I would need to terminate their lease and get in there, because they'd been there so long. When they're there that long, the house gets very damaged as a renter. I don't know.
Sure. Well, I agree with you on the vetting. It's very important. It also is important to get to know the neighbors, provide your contact information, because you do live in Kansas.
Yeah.
And that's not you said 20 minutes if the traffic's good. In my experience, the traffic's never good.
Yeah.
So it'd be important to us to have assurances that you're going to take care of things.
Well, I met the neighbor 2 houses down that moved from Montana. He seems like someone that might be responsible enough to,
Yeah.
have the character enough to give a call or keep an eye out as well. And again, I haven't met all of them in the surrounding area, but like you said, they're very established. He's been there. I'm sure now, if it were to pass, he would be also keep an eye on the place.
Sure.
And be
Well,
one of my contacts.
And some people, I think it's a good idea, if I can just say this, that we had an applicant before that wasn't really experienced. You probably have more experience than they did, and rented it out to some young kids, which they didn't properly vet. And the point is, the neighbors were hesitant to call the police. They didn't know what to do. They didn't really know who the owner was. They didn't, and the one that did, I think, was hesitant to call them, hoping that they would be aware of the situation. So my observation is that the more you tell these neighbors that you're going to be there and you're taking the appropriate steps, the more comfortable everybody's going to feel, because they need to be empowered by you to say, if you see a problem, call me, but call the police too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm just saying that. And
No,
so
you're absolutely right. My long-term rentals, I do the exact same thing.
Yes.
I meet the neighbors, and I make sure and give them my contact information as well.
Well, and that goes a long ways to helping us make a decision.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Thank you for saying
Appreciate
that.
it.
You had mentioned when you first told us about the project that you weren't near done. What's
Well,
your
it's
timeline kind of look like?
It's a hard push, because the World Cup starts in June. My wife is telling me hey, I'm pushing her too hard, because we haven't even got furniture or anything like that. So if it makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. My math has shown that, if I do 25% occupancy, I'll break even. 50%, I'll make a profit. So, that would be great for me. It's a lot better for me than a long-term, in the sense that even though I can get a great renter in there for a lease, I can make more money on a short-term rental, and the house stays in a lot better shape. My experience has been that people don't keep it as clean as you do, as I might. They don't take care of the yard the same way. It's just, I don't get a call about water until I show up, and they say, oh, we didn't want to bother you on the water. And it's like, well, now I've got, $1,000 worth of damage instead of replacing a faucet. So Yeah, anyway.
All right. Any additional questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, Gabe, I do want to ask, there was a mention of a list of names, but do we have a legal protest?
There was no legal protest petition submitted to the city.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? I'm going to close this public hearing.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion we approve case 26-426, short-term rental, 3021 South Porter Road.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any final discussion? All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young, Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 6 and 1 abstained. And it passes for case number 26426, short-term rental at 3021 South Porter Road. One thing I will say about this one is we do take strong consideration to the concerns of neighbors. And what we've found is that neighbors talking after these kind of hearings makes all the difference. So I just encourage you. Do we need a break, commissioners? Are we ready to continue?
Continue.
All right, we will continue. Staff, I
This is
look forward to your next report.
absolutely. This is case number 26427, an application for short-term rental approval for the property located at 12717 East 48th Street South. It's a property located in Southwest Independence in the Voorhees Vales subdivision. It's a notification area map as required by city code. Zoning district map of the proposed short-term rental and the surrounding properties shows that Voorhees Vale subdivision, where the proposed short-term rental is located in, it's a mix of condominiums and single-family homes. To the south of the subject site is a church for religious assembly, and the properties surrounding the subject site largely consist of residential and single-family land use. The property in question is approximately 6,500 square feet in size. The dwelling was constructed in 2016 and encloses approximately 1,600 square feet of living area. The property does feature a double-wide driveway, providing ample parking for guests. Here's a picture of the front facade. Street level imagery showing 48th Street South, looking approximately southeasterly and northwesterly. Floor plan showing 2 bedrooms and a parking plan showing that the short-term rental does provide ample parking in accordance with city code. And this proposed short-term rental meets the density limitations as required by city code, excuse me. City staff does recommend approval of the application with the standard conditions. The maximum number of adult occupants shall be limited to 4, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be 2. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, I do have one. Just looking at the property address and the applicant address listed as the same. Do you have any additional information on the applicant address?
Yes, in this case, staff did correspond closely with the applicant, and their plan is to find other accommodations while they rent out the short-term rental.
All right, thank you very much. Any additional questions for staff? Okay, I invite the applicant forward.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Maria Leathers. I do live at 12717 East 48th Street South in Independence, Missouri. I am happy to be here. My community is a very nice, clean, safe, pet-friendly neighborhood. I do currently stay at this address, and if approved, I will be staying with my fiance, who lives about 5 minutes away from the condo. I've lived here for 5 years. The home has detectors in every room, fire extinguishers. I just want to be able to provide a nice vacation rental during the summer for mostly people that are seniors like me. I just recently retired from Jackson County, Missouri, so I'm not looking to rent to, I don't want to say to the younger people, but just to mature seniors that's around my age. And in the community, I did speak to some of my neighbors, and they are just wonderful people who we all look out for one another. We all know everybody. It's almost like a close-knit family. So they do have my phone number in case any concerns arise. They know to call me. I do have security cameras on the outside of the unit as well. So other than that, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
And your fiance.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so
all right.
much.
Any questions for our applicant?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, I'm looking at your floor plan here.
Yes.
I'm not quite following, is it not a 3-bedroom?
It is a 3-bedroom, but one of the rooms I use as a den or a TV room. So it's recliners in there where people can go in and just recline and look at TV, but the other 2 rooms are available.
Okay, now, then you got listed 2 beds in, I'm guessing, family room?
And
It looks like that,
Oh,
the
yeah.
living room, high
That-
beds?
Yes, sir. Those are couches that let out 2 beds.
But you know they can't use those, correct?
And that's fine. They don't have to use. I just have those.
I mean, because we're only limited to 4 adults. That's usually 2
Okay.
bedrooms. That's why it's like that.
Yes, sir. And I can follow those rules.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious why you didn't make it a 3rd bedroom. That's why.
I could have, but I just decided to do 2 bedrooms. I didn't.
That's fine. I was
Yeah.
just curious. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, sure.
Any additional questions? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, wait, one more question.
Oh, sure.
Sorry. Is this a homeowner association or dues or anything in this place?
I believe there, yes, sir, there is a HOA, and I have consulted with the board, and they do allow short-term rental. They just don't allow like Airbnb or for me to purchase it and then permanently move out and just rent it forever. You can't do that. But the short-term rental is okay.
Okay, so do they take care of the lawns there, or is that?
Yes, they do.
That's what I thought. That's why I wanted to make sure, so.
They do the lawn, the trash, and snow removal.
Okay, so the HOA is okay with it?
Yeah.
Do we need to have that in writing, staff?
It is not a part of city code, so any HOA restrictions would constitute a civil matter.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did consult with them before, so yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone present who'd like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone who'd like to speak in favor? Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? All right, I do not see any, so I will close the public hearing.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner O'Neill.
I make a motion, we approve case number 26-400-27, short-term rental at 12717 East 48th Street South.
Second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any additional conversation? All right, seeing none, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes. And case number 26-400-27, short-term rental, 12717 East 48th Street South passes 7-0 in favor. Congratulations. And we move on to our next case, short-term rental at 1526 East Hayward Avenue.
Yes, this is case number 26400-33, application for short-term rental approval of the property located at 1526 East Hayward Avenue. It's a property located just to the west of Lee Summit Road in central eastern Independence. It's a notification area map as required by city code. A zoning district map of the surrounding properties shows the subject site is located in a two-family duplex zoning district classification. However, the predominant use of properties in the surrounding area is single-family in nature, and there is a large tract of land to the north of the site that is vacant. The property in question is approximately 20,000 square feet in size. County records indicated it was constructed in 1960 and encloses approximately 960 square feet of living area. The property does feature a double-wide driveway providing ample parking for guests. Here's a picture of the front facade, the proposed short-term rental. And street-level imagery east towards Lee Summit Road and west down Hayward. It's a floor plan of the subject site showing the four-car driveway, the front porch, and 3 bedrooms. And a parking plan, again, showing the ample parking in accordance with city code. The nearest short-term rental is outside of any site separation requirement. Short-term rentals in the vicinity are scattered around the neighborhood there. Staff does recommend approval of the application with the standard conditions. Maximum adult occupancy of the short-term rental will be limited to 6, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be 3. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions for Gabe? Seeing none, is the applicant present?
Hi, I'm Ginny Weatherman.
Why don't you move that mic down just a hair for you?
Thank
There
you.
you go.
I'm Ginny Weatherman, and I'm applying for the short-term rental at 1526 East Hayward Avenue.
What is your address?
Oh, my address is 9154 West 194th Terrace in Bucyrus, Kansas.
Okay.
I bought this house in July of 2025. My family, my mom grew up in Independence. My grandma, who is 92, is still a resident of Independence all of my entire life. We've been coming here for Christmas, Thanksgiving, you know, all of our family gatherings are here. I still have 2 aunts that live here as well in Independence. So Independence is a place that is close to my heart. And when I bought the house, I was able to meet some of the neighbors right away, and I've met quite a few of them since then. I know I can call a few of them my friends, and I have the phone numbers, and they have my numbers, several of them that are around us. And I'm looking forward to doing a short-term rental for, you know, starting out with FIFA to see how it goes, and if it goes well, then continuing on with it. Aside from the noise monitoring with Minute, I do have ADT security with outdoor cameras and a doorbell camera as well.
All right. Anything else we need to know?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Nesbitt.
Okay, I see the bedroom in the basement, so it's locked off, they can't get to it, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, because, I mean,
The basement will be completely locked off, yes.
okay. So it's the washer and dryer upstairs then?
It is in the garage.
In the garage, okay. Okay, that's it, thanks.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
what venue are you going to use, Airbnb?
Airbnb will be the main venue, but there will be, I was looking to use also the Furnished Finder for the nurses that come in for short-term rentals as well after FIFA. That was actually kind of where I was gearing towards when I first started thinking about doing short-term rentals, but as well as in the Facebook Marketplace and any other, I think I listed a few others, but I haven't really looked into those, so it's mainly Airbnb and the Furnished Finder is what I've been focusing on, looking at.
Any additional questions?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, so I don't know how far away you live.
What?
How far away do you live?
From here?
Yeah.
Everything in Independence is no further than 13 minutes away, right?
No, I meant.
From here, it's about 11 minutes. What are you talking about? Oh, where I live.
Where you live.
Oh,
Where you live.
no, I'm sorry. It's about a 45-minute drive. I do have quite a bit of family here and friends as well in Independence, in the area that are ready to help out if needed, if I can't get there in it as fast as needed. But 45 minutes it's a pretty quick drive.
Staff, do we have somebody on file for closer?
I can put somebody on file. if we need
I'm
to.
asking staff.
Sorry.
So the ordinance does require a property manager that's within 1 hour of the site.
Okay, 1 hour, okay.
And I'm going to guess, I'm going to allow you to kind of follow up with that. If there was an issue, you were unavailable, you already have somebody
Yes.
in mind who would show up in your place.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? All right, we'll call you back if we need to. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone in opposition? All right, I do not see any. I will close this public hearing.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Nesbitt.
I make a motion to approve case 26-433, short-term rental, 1526 East Hayward Avenue.
I have a first and I have a second from Commissioner Young. Any final comments? All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 2640033, short-term rental, 1526 East Hayward Avenue. Congratulations. All right, we're down to our next to last.
This is application 26-435, application for short-term rental approval for the property at 15212 East 33rd Street South. Property is located in approximately southeast Independence. Here is a notification area map as required by city code. Zoning district map showing the surrounding subdivisions primarily consist of single-family homes of similar characteristics, age, and design. To the north is the railroad and a vacant tract of land. The property is approximately 8,700 square feet in size. County records show the dwelling was constructed in 1968 and encloses 900 square feet of living area. There's enough parking for 2 cars in the driveway, and the garage will be made available for guest parking. Here's a picture of the front facade.
Nice house.
And street level imagery looking along 33rd Street.
Most of them had garages around back. I'm surprised that one didn't have it.
Floor plan of the proposed short-term rental shows 3 bedrooms. And another room in the basement. parking plan for the proposed short-term rental shows 2 cars in the driveway, 1 in the garage, and available street parking. And the nearest short-term rental is outside of any site separation requirement. Staff does recommend approval of the proposed short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum adult occupancy shall be limited to 6, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be 3. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Commissioner?
Gabe, could you show the picture of the front of the house again, please? What's the brown hole in front of the garage?
We just had to edit out a person standing there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Nice Photoshop. Thank you. Any additional questions? All right. I'll invite the applicant to come forward.
Good evening. My name is Ariel Vickery, and I live at 4313 South Briarcliff Avenue in Thomashaw. I did bring a brief one-page summary if you would,
Absolutely.
would like it. Sure.
Here, I'll pass them out. Thank you.
I am requesting approval to operate the home as a short-term rental, but my primary use is midterm stays, specifically for displaced families and traveling professionals. This property won't function typically as a short-term vacation rental. The majority of bookings are stays that are 1 to 12 months. Shorter stays under 30 days will be very limited and never less than 1 week, and will typically only occur to fill gaps between longer bookings for guests in need of temporary housing during transitional circumstances. And this is for someone that's maybe had a fire on their home and they've booked a rental. The insurance company has had their rental, but then instead of staying in a hotel with their kids, they can stay in a home that's fully furnished and designed to support them. My goal is to provide stable, respectful housing for people in transitions, such as families, people experiencing major life events. All guests are thoroughly vetted and screened to ensure they are a good fit for the property and the neighborhood. This is not intended to be a vacation or party house or anything like that. I have taken steps to ensure the property operates responsibly and in compliance with the city. This includes installing a minute noise monitoring system, exterior security cameras, and enforcing strict occupancy limits, providing clear housing rules in the house manual, and maintaining active and local management. I also use a property management software with built-in automations, integrations, and screening tools to ensure that bookings are handled consistently and responsibly. I brought a copy of the house manual, a sample lease, and a minute report for reference, if it's helpful. I live less than 5 minutes from the property. I'm directly involved in its operations. If any issues arise, I can respond quickly and ensure it's resolved. I have an order of operation for when the device, the noise monitoring, because it also monitoring smoke and things like that, an order of operation on how to handle each circumstances should it arise. I am also a small business owner with my husband. We've been business owners for over 15 years. I noticed someone commented about the garage doors. That's our company. We own a garage door company. This has given me extensive experience in customer service, operations, and accountability. And I feel it has allowed me to be a better property manager. This property is also personally important to me. It was my home for many years, and my children spent much of their childhood there. It's full of memories and milestones. I care deeply about maintaining the quality and character of this home and the neighborhood. And one of the reasons why I chose to do a fully furnished rental was a member of my family, my grandmother, experienced a house fire, and having access to a comfortable home, not just a hotel, made a meaningful difference, and I want to provide that same type of housing for others when they need it most. My goal is to operate this home in the way that respects the neighborhood and provides a stable, low-impact housing option. Thank you for your time and consideration.
All right. Ariel, I just want to say I really admire the reason that you want to do this. I do think we need to probably settle with staff a concern. Based on her own words, this does not sound like a short-term rental.
So we discussed that briefly, and City Code does support approval still. So City Code does prohibit multiple bookings, so multiple parties renting at one time. If there is one party that has a lease agreement longer than 30 days, then the property owner will need to obtain a landlord license. And if the property owner also chooses to rent to a different party for a period of time less than 30 days, then the short-term rental would be applicable.
So you can go back and forth if they don't intersect with the same time period.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification.
And I do have a landlord license for the property.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions for our applicant? Okay. Anyone who would like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone who'd like to speak in favor, come on forward. State your name and your address, please.
I'm Veronica Bolton, and my address is 6421 North Green Hills Road, Kansas City, Missouri. I am not here for them, just for the record. I'm here for the next one, but I just wanted to speak on them because I know there's some neighbors here that are not for this. I have known these two for many years. I do business with them, and they are outstanding people, and they do outstanding business, and very trustworthy and reliable people to the community. So I have no doubt in my mind that they would do anything wrong with this house. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Okay, anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Okay, go ahead and come forward. And were you sworn in, sir?
Hello.
Were you sworn in? I'm sorry.
Yes, you were.
Oh, you were. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Marvin Sands, and I live at 15318 East 33rd Street in Independence, and I'm a long-term resident of Independence. I've lived in my current residence for a little over 50 years. So I'm speaking in opposition of this idea of creating a short-term rental in my neighborhood. Reason for that is creating short-term rental opportunities sets a precedent. And once those precedents are set, it's extremely difficult to overcome those precedents. So if you would approve this, as you have in some other cases, if somebody else would like to come in and do the very same thing, you have no choice but to approve it in a second effort. So you can't hardly oppose an effort once that precedent is set and going forward with that. So I would offer you the opportunity to say no to this opportunity, at least in my neighborhood. Also, when my neighborhood was created, built in the late 1960s. Now, I've been in that neighborhood for a little over 50 years, and we have a very nice neighborhood, and we intend for it to stay that way. And so, creating short-term rental opportunities such as this one doesn't create for stability and long-term residence for other people. And once you establish that, as I said before, once you establish that precedent, it's really, really difficult to overcome that. So I would caution you against setting these kind of precedents, so that you don't get caught up in having the opportunity where you would face that situation again. So I would caution you about setting those kinds of precedents, which you have done on other residents. So we want our neighborhood to remain stable. We want it to be the kind of neighborhood that would invite other people to move into it when those opportunities occur, and for them to stay there as long as they wish on a long-term basis, or even short-term basis, depending on their family situations. So I would caution you about that. Also, my neighborhood was designed for family living. It was never designed or created for families to move in and then suddenly rent their spaces out for short-term situations. So given that situation, I would caution you again about creating a situation where you do not create that family living structure. So keep that in mind when you make a decision with regard to this particular residence. It's a family neighborhood. It was designed to be a family neighborhood. And I'm asking you to keep that stability in mind as you consider your vote going forward for this particular neighborhood. So I think I made my point pretty clear here. So once again, I would ask you not to vote in favor of this idea of creating short-term situations that would make it extremely difficult to overturn once that precedent is set. So I would ask you to vote not in favor of this issue. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone present? Okay, go ahead and come forward, sir. And you were also sworn in?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
My name's Brandon Holder. I'm the homeowner at 15301 East 33rd Street. I first moved to 33rd Street when I was 15 years old. I didn't leave later until I was 22. From 15 to 22, 33rd Street, like the last gentleman said, very family neighborhood, very quiet neighborhood. Everybody kind of spoke with everybody. I moved, me and my wife and our children, back to 33rd Street with being able to move anywhere in the world that I wanted to. I'm retired now, so we could have literally went anywhere, but we went back to 33rd because I knew it was a family neighborhood. Now that we've been there for a year and a half, I know every single person on my street. I tried to meet the gentleman that owns the house in question. He was very rude, almost semi-combative to the point where I just said, have a good day, and turned around and walked away. When Ariel's been texted about it, we've been met with ChatGPT responses. They haven't spoken with any of our neighbors about this at all. We all are outside all the time. Literally Saturday night, 15 of my neighbors were in my driveway for about 3 hours. So I would ask you definitely not to approve this. I didn't put all this money back into the neighborhood to have Airbnbs and all that. So that's my piece. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone additionally like to speak in opposition? Go ahead and come forward. And sir, were you sworn in?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
All right, thank you.
My name is Mark Couch. I live at 15306 East 33rd Street South. I'm 4 doors down from this residence. I would like to echo Mr. Sands, his concerns. For me personally, when you live in that neighborhood, you're not just my neighbors, you're my family. Your kids are my kids. Your property's my property. Your pets are my pets. I'm going to watch out for them. I'm going to have an eagle eye. I'm watching out for everything goes on in that neighborhood. With a short-term rental, we're opposed to that. Not just myself, not just the people who have spoken against it, but I know me canvassing the neighborhood, there are at least 7 other residences in that neighborhood on that street who are also opposed to it. For one reason or another, they couldn't be here tonight. The question of who is going to rent this residence on a short-term basis, we don't know. They're not our family. We're pretty private. In who we want to be around our kids, who we want on our property. Mr. Holder, he's welcome on my property any day, as I am on his. We've, and I'll echo what he said, there's been no communication with me whatsoever as far as intent to use this home as a short-term rental. I've got no problem with a long-term rental. If there's a long-term rental, someone's going to be there. Someone's going to be picking up the trash that blows over in the neighbor's yards. Someone's going to be mowing the grass. Someone's going to be taking care of that property and not helping my property values to go down. But with short-term rental, I'm out of here in 2 weeks. I don't care what it looks like when I leave. And I would ask each and every one of you on this commission, do you want to subject your homes and your properties to that very same possibility? My guess is that the answer is no. And for those reasons, I'm adamantly opposed to it, and I pray to God that you all are too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to speak in opposition?
Hello, my name is Gina Smead. I live immediately next door at 15206 East 33rd Street South. I admire what Ms. Vickery and her husband are doing with the not short-term, but the mid-term renting to those displaced and in need. However, I think a short-term rental is just not worth it in the area. I think that even as it is now, like Mr. Couch was saying, I'm finding garbage in my yard, and these people who are there, while they're very kind, are not necessarily picking up after themselves and always making sure that they are on top of the maintenance that maybe a longer-term person might be on top of. 1 month, 12 months, that's great, but I think anyone staying anything shorter than 30 days, just, it doesn't seem necessary for the neighborhood. I, like I said, have no issues with rentals as it is, but there are a great number of children in this neighborhood, and I worry about people who are coming in for short periods of time. I know she says that she's vetting them, but people lie all the time. You can only go with what the internet and these vetting softwares tell you, and you have to trust that. And I mean, we have another neighbor who is able to get around laws and regulations, and so I don't want to say that she's not doing her due diligence, but with the amount of children that are out running in the streets, people are already speeding up and down our street. I fear that having someone there for a shorter period of time, they just aren't going to have the same care, or they could be potentially a danger to these children, and even myself and my animal who are outside, or any other people who are walking, because it is a neighborhood that is walked in often. My husband and I just moved in last June, and I would hate to see it falling apart before we even get to spend any significant amount of time there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone additionally like to speak in opposition? Okay, thank you very much. We'll invite you back up if you'd like to address anything that you heard.
I do want to applaud my neighbors for coming out and standing together as a community to support something that they believe in. Again, I do want to reiterate that the use as a short term is very rare under certain circumstances and not a standard Not something that would be standard. It's only during gaps between bookings if someone fits the need for that. I hear those concerns, and I'm more than willing to have better communication. I think things get very busy, and it can be hard to keep in touch with everybody. So that's something that I can definitely work on, to have better communication with the neighbors so that any concerns they have, I can address immediately as well.
Can I ask you if short-term rental is technically 30 days or less, but we've already know that hers would include less than 1 year? Does that absolutely require a short-term rental? Or could that be any additional rental?
So any stay that is 30 days or longer falls under landlord-tenant law, so that's under state statute and city code. And any stay under 30 days is considered short-term rental, and city staff would have to get back with you regarding any required, transient guest tax, tax liabilities for the operator. But based on the code, any stays less than 30 days in length fall under the short-term rental regulations.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. All right. What do you think you could do to improve communication?
Share information about who's going to be there or when move in and move out are. I can include, I am not a very social person overall. I have pretty bad social anxiety, so I know several of the neighbors. I did live there for a long time. The neighbor across the street watched my kids. So it is more challenging for me to talk to people, just approach them as if they're in their driveway. But keeping them in the loop of what's going on and giving them the opportunity to state any problems they have, I'm very much open to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Any additional questions for her, anyone?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, so which neighbors do you know? You know neighbors around you? You lived there for how many years?
I lived there for 12 years.
Lived there 12 years, and you got neighbors talking like they don't even know you. Do they not know you, or do they know you?
Some of them, I probably have spoken to them, but I knew the neighbors that were directly adjacent to my home.
Okay, because the way they're talking is like they know everybody, but it sounds like if they knew everybody, they should have known you, and you should have known them. But you're saying that you don't know them?
Not well.
Okay, that's just what I want to know.
No one, I've spoken with the neighbor right next door.
Right.
And I did try to address some of these concerns with her. And like I said, the neighbor across the street, and I didn't know the neighbor on the other side, but they have since, there's a new owner to that home now.
Okay,
And
one
the
of them brought up about trash. Do you guys go by there regularly and check for trash and trash service? I know that's part of the thing.
Yes, I didn't know about the trash, or I definitely would have addressed that. I try to go by at least once a week to make sure everything looks good.
Okay.
And if anything shows up on the security cameras, I do check those daily.
Okay, and then you have a yard service that comes and mows
Yeah.
probably maintains the
Yeah,
yard.
for the past 10 years, the same lawn service.
I was going
yeah.
to say, you're probably maintaining the property really well. That looks like it, so. Okay, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any additional questions? All right, Gabe, I will just also clarify, while we heard a number of statements, there's not a legal protest?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, anything else?
Chair.
Yes, I probably need to close the public hearing. All right, yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to approve case number 26400-35, short-term rental 15212 East 33rd Street South.
Second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any final discussion? All right, I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
No.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 6-1. And this, I think, is one of those other cases that legitimate concerns, and I would just keep working on communicating. But sounds like you have a lovely neighborhood.
That's out of order.
I'll go ahead and give you a minute to leave.
Hey, there's no need for that. Please leave orderly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I appreciate that.
Damn rights.
Didn't even need a knocker. All right. Hey, Gabe, in the future, that is such an odd case that we haven't, I don't believe in the years that we've approved short-term rentals have ever seen something like that. So I felt a little, I don't know, is left-footed the right term? So, because I thought it was just very clear, less than 30 days for short-term rental period, and I had no idea somebody could try to do both.
Well,
But
because
we
they got
really
license-
have,
they
but
got
we
license
really,
for both of
I know,
them.
but we don't have anything to do with the long-term side, period.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
This matter's been closed. We voted on it. Let's move
No. I'm looking towards next time. So my recommendation is something this different. I would love a little more heads up.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right. And your next case? Case number 2640037 on Oxford Avenue.
Yes, this is the last case for tonight, an application for short-term rental approval for the property located at 3416 South Oxford Avenue. The property is located on the western border of Independence, just north of 40 Highway and just east of Blue Ridge Boulevard. Here's a zoning district map of the subject site and surrounding properties. Excuse me. Been a long night. Notification area map as required by city code. Here is a zoning district map of the surrounding properties showing a mix of zoning classifications, including the subject site located in a two-family or duplex zoning district classification. Across the street is a moderate density classification. Directly to the west, a general commercial zoning district classification. To the north is a high-density classification, and further to the east is R6 or single-family, that light yellow. The subject site is approximately 11,700 square feet in size. County record indicates the dwelling was constructed in 1963 and encloses approximately 1,100 square feet of living area. The application does indicate the garage will be made available for guest parking, and the proposed short-term rental does meet the parking requirements. Here is a photo of the front facade of the duplex and street-level imagery of Oxford Avenue looking north and south. Here's a floor plan of the proposed short-term rental. It's a two-bedroom dwelling and a parking plan. The nearest short-term rental is outside of any site separation requirement. They are in close proximity, however, to the east. Staff does recommend approval of the short-term rental with the standard conditions. The maximum adult occupancy of the short-term rental shall be limited to 4, and the maximum number of bedrooms shall be 2. And that concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, Gabe, we did have a question about this when we met with Rick, and there seems to be some rather close short-term rentals in the neighborhood.
Yes.
We believed that they were probably before we had rules prohibiting the location. Is that the case in this manner?
That's correct.
Okay. We just wanted to verify that on the record. Thank you. Any additional questions for staff? All right. I will invite the applicant forward.
Hello. Hello. I'm Veronica. This address is 3416 South Oxford Avenue in Independence. The owner is Andrew Stephen. He lives in a different state. He is an investor. He owns both sides. Right now, they're both long-term tenants, and the one side, the tenant, his lease is up, and we're turning it into a short-term rental. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, has a very nice backyard. The person on the other side of the duplex is okay with this, very respectful person. We obviously have plenty of parking. I am the owner of Cleaning Maids In and Out, which is one of the largest cleaning companies in Kansas City. I also am the owner of Vondine Property Management, which is a short-term rental property management here in Kansas City. I manage about 7 properties right now. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. This is my first one in Independence. So I have no doubt in my mind that it will be properly taken care of, you know, the lawn care, trash. We'll have a camera on the front and the back. I vet people who stay. I only allow certain kind of people that stay, like they have to have reviews, profile picture. All of my stays are on Airbnb and Vrbo are 4 stars and 5 stars. So I don't have any doubts of this property. I think it'll be a great business for Independence.
Do you have any idea why somebody from Florida found or wanted to rent in Independence or short-term rental?
I think I asked him, but I honestly don't remember what he said. But I think he has a couple properties here, like in the Kansas City metro.
Okay, so he has more than
it might be
this
like
one.
his wife is from here or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. And how close are you?
So I live in Parkville.
Okay. So typically, you're able to get to any of your locations in what amount of time?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay.
I would say, yeah. And I have properties all over Kansas City, so I'm all over the place anyways. And I have over 30 employees. So even if for some reason I can't get to it fast enough, I have like 5 employees in Independence. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any questions for our applicant?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, since you're a business person renting these out, tell me, how has it been going with any problems with any of the other ones that you manage since you've been doing it for 5 years? I haven't heard any feedback from people.
No, I really don't have negative feedback about short-term rentals, and to be honest, I got dragged into it. Like, this was not really my goal. I was just a house cleaner. And I just, honestly, this other guy in New York asked me to take care of his property here in Kansas City and said he would teach me everything. And I go to the trainings constantly. I'm in a short-term rental alliance, and I am all for short-term rentals being taken care of. You know, no parties, no gunshots, any of that crazy stuff. So I like that, you know, you guys have this going on and you're taking care of it, because if it gets saturated, then you have people taking care of properties that should not be, you know, so.
But you haven't had any problems with any of the properties you
No.
manage?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thanks.
question.
Commissioner.
So, and I'm just wondering about this. Do you advertise? Or you just happened into this to manage all these 70 properties?
So I was doing residential house cleaning, and it was on Christmas 4 years ago, and I didn't have my kids for some reason, and this guy in New York said his cleaner bailed for his short-term rental on Christmas, so he offered to pay me double to go clean it, and he taught me like what to do different, and then he was like, oh, you seem like a good person, will you manage this property? And I told him I didn't know what I was doing, and he said he would teach me for free, and I mean, it just kind of went from there. I used to manage at PMI Destination Properties in Overland Park. They had 20 properties, and then they had shut down just because they weren't making enough capital, and so I actually took like half of those clients on my own and started my own company. So my own company, it's been about 1.5 years. Before that, I was under other people.
Well, so I guess where I'm going with this is 'cause I run a company too. And I don't know, are you ever reviewed on, Yahoo or Yelp or
Oh,
what
yeah.
have you? Okay, so people
yeah.
know about you.
I'm very well known in
So if I
Kansas City.
look you up,
Totally,
you got
yes.
5 stars across the board.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yes.
Thank you. Because because you're out of town, we want people who, obviously have no apparent reason to want to be taking care of properties here, actually act responsible and please take care of the properties.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yes.
Sounds like you're the right place at the right time, too.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I mean, I always see somebody everywhere I'm going, so.
That's awesome. Any additional questions? Okay, we'll call you back if we need to. Thank you. Anyone present like to speak in favor of this case? Anyone to speak in favor? All right, anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Okay. Any final questions? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I would like to move, we recommend case 26-400-37, short-term rental at 3416 South Oxford Avenue for approval.
I have a first, do I have a second, Jose? Excellent. All right. I will call for the vote.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashbaugh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0 for case number 26-400-37, short-term rental at 3416 South Oxford Avenue. All right. Do we have anything for the good of one another? Any notes, any announcements? I do have one. This is our only meeting for the month of April. That came as a little unexpected, so there wasn't apparently enough time before the World Cup, but we suspect we'll have some after that, correct?
I'm thinking I should complain because we didn't have enough applicants tonight.
I did have a question.
And I have a question for the city.
Please.
Do you have on your website for the public view, data around the perceived fears of the public on short-term rentals? I'm sure people, when they wanted to oppose this, they'll look at the city website and see the regulations and all that, but do we have something that is visible that people can click and find data?
I think we have a statement written from our city attorney with his thoughts and the statistics around that.
And the benefits are for independence to move into this and the need of this and the future. I don't know, it's something to to appease the community on this perceived threats. They're for the most part are unfounded.
So other than how to go through the application
Right.
process and where it's at, we don't have anything that specifically promotes that or vice versa. So, I mean, we can look in to see if there's maybe information or links that we can provide
Right, like
that
a
kind
brochure or something about-
of refer, yeah, to what does it mean? What is a short-term rental and that type of thing. But
I think an information page could be really helpful.
I think it will be, you know, we'll have less people coming out angry or leave out angry with this flavor in their mouth that it's gonna be ruin their neighbor and stuff like that, but, you know, perceived threat, but it's not there yet. I mean, you feel for this neighborhood that's been living for 50 years and feel threatened or something like that, right? You know, it's like.
yeah, I would remind the board that we do have a revocation process. These are annual licenses that are issued if we do have problems, if there are, police reports that we receive, that there is a process to revoke those licenses, so.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I brought up a build to rent
Yes.
questions, and it's been a long time, but I'm not that I'm complaining. I just didn't know if there's any future updates on the horizon.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
I brought up a build to rent, hoping to get some information from the city on
The
build to rent.
Oh,
Like-
the rental?
Yes.
So everywhere that we looked on, so a lot of these are happening kind of in the south. We've seen some of these in Texas, some of these are in Arkansas. Pretty much all the ones that we looked at here would require some kind of PUD. As far as regulations to prohibit them, we haven't seen any actual specific cities adopt those. I know there's been discussions from cities about being able to prevent those from being approved. I can say, one of those questions that we ask for any developer that comes in here, what is their intentions for those? So, but we haven't seen anything, at least from those types of single-family developments that are just being built strictly for rentals here that would actually meet that. They would have to be some kind of PUD that would come before Planning Commission and Council for approval. All the ones that we have seen have had lot sizes that are smaller, that don't conform to our standard code. I think that's intentional because in order to make those cost effective, they have to be smaller. And so that would here fall under the PUD code. And so it's not as if those would come in. That doesn't mean they can't be submitted as projects, but those projects, at least from the best of what we can see here in Independence, would require an approval process through Planning Commission and Council.
So they wouldn't slip through, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we don't see that if they met the contextual code for single-family developments, those would not match the ones that we're seeing that are being built in some of these other states that I've talked about.
So I'm not saying I'm against them. I'm saying I just don't want that to take over the market. I think there always needs to be a good selection of types of housing, right?
Yep.
So my hope was that we could get ahead of the game and kind of think, if we're going to let folks do this, let's figure out, what kind of
Some
places
code
we
around
want
it.
them to be, how big do we want them to be? Should they abut single-family homes? Should they abut, rentals or apartments, or, to have some kind of clear plan, because they're probably going to come in.
Yeah, so from what we looked at, a lot of this is market-driven. It's a means to try to make single families homes affordable to people that couldn't otherwise purchase. Some of the regulations that we've looked at that some cities are considering, haven't necessarily adopted yet. A lot of these properties would be maintained by property owners, right? So the requirement that some of these cities are looking at is that there's on-site property maintenance for any of these type of developments, and not just, investors that are outside the state, for example, that are building these to lease and don't actually, even though they're supposed to be maintaining them, don't actually maintain them. So some of those regulations that we've seen that are being considered, other than potentially figuring out a way to prevent it entirely, is making sure that those properties have on-site property maintenance management. But really, that's kind of the extent of what our research has been.
Okay, and that would, any kind of regulations would happen at a city level or a county level, or would it go to
It would have to
state?
go through our ordinance, and we would have to adopt something
City
that
council.
would do that, yeah. Now, keep in mind, though, our code already requires all developments, regardless of multifamily, or rentals, or senior family rentals, or single family. We all still, in our code, we do require a HOA or a homeowners type association, because there's typically always going to be properties that are going to be maintained. We do require stormwater mitigation, things of that nature. So there's always going to be some kind of common property that needs to be maintained. So there is already a management component to it. But like I said, the difference there from what's being considered is on-site property maintenance. And, yep.
Okay, and what you said was, when they come in to apply, they have to be upfront with you about what their intentions are. They can't say, yeah, we're going to do this, and then, in the planning process, months later, they go, well, it's not working out for us, so we're going to have to switch over to this. Would they have to start the process all over again?
So
They said
for example, if a developer came in and wanted to do a single-family residential property that it's already been zoned, let's say R6, and the plan that they submit meets the contextual code, we always ask the question, are these going to be owner-occupied, or what's their intentions? There is a possibility they can go through the approval process and get that subdivision approved, and then choose to rent some of those properties. It is not uncommon that developers will not only develop, but also be their own builders. We see that a lot. And in some of those houses, they'll sell some of those, but then they may also rent some of those. I think the question, what you're talking about is that entire development going to be rental properties, single-family rental properties? And so I can't tell you definitively that there's any guarantees with that. But again, the ones that we have researched, if those types of developments were to be presented here in Independence, those would have to be through some sort of plan unit development process, which would come through an approval process to Planning Commission and Council.
Okay. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
I can't guarantee anything.
All right, any additional notes?
Chair.
Yes.
Rick, we've approved some apartment complexes here. Has any of them fallen through, or what's going on with those? We got 3, I know, out by the Independence Center, there's a couple of them.
Jackson's not, looks like it's gone away,
And out there I think on Woods Chapel.
So the one in
Yeah,
Woods Chapel
there
is
is.
actually,
North
they'll
Point.
be starting here pretty soon.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
The other two that you're talking about, yes, the one over on 39th Street and the other one that's behind the movie theater.
Yeah.
We have not seen movement on those.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll probably need to go back because those approvals are good for 2 years.
That's what I thought,
And
that's what I
so,
saw.
yeah, if those times.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. So if those approvals have expired, then yes, they would have to come back before this body and council to get reapproval.
Yep.
Okay.
Good question, because we just talked about that tonight, driving over and seeing no movement on some of that land, so. Gabe, I was remiss in saying, great job handling all 10 tonight, so thank you very much. And Mitch, always appreciate you sitting there and taking it. I appreciate it. All right. And with it being 8:10, I adjourn this meeting.